So one of the key things to get your email read, to get it opened in the first place, is to write an effective subject line. I'm going to share with you a few tips to write subject lines that sell. Tip number one, frame your subject line as a question. So people are far more inclined to open an email where the subject line is, "Who wants to cook the world's best lasagna?" as opposed to the subject line that says something like, "Recipe of the month, lasagna." That question inspires a sense of wonder, a sense of, I want to hear what happens next. I think I know the answer. Let's see what the answer is inside the email. So framing email subject lines as a question is one of the best ways to increase your open rate. Creating scarcity and urgency is another way to do it. So noting that you have a deadline, must act before a certain date, or only a certain amount left. Those are good ways to, only 25 left. Those are good ways to get people to act and to get people to respond. People have a tendency, especially with commercial email, to put off opening and to put off acting on what it is you've sent them. But if you give them a reason that they need to act sooner rather than later, they certainly will do so. Another important thing to do in a subject line is to create an explicit call to action. Rather than simply saying, monthly newsletter or marketing tips, be explicit about saying something like, read these tax-saving tips before April 15th. That's a great example of a call to action and urgency. Do this, read this before a certain deadline, before tax day. And oh, by the way, there's one last tip about subject lines that I'll share with you right now that was implied in that subject line. Tax savings. Read these tax saving tips before April 15th. The point of that is that you want to be as explicit as you can in the subject line about the benefit, what people will find inside. It's not just tips, it's tax savings. The benefit of reading what this subject line is you will save money on your taxes. If you are able to describe in your subject line the benefit of some of the content inside the email, you will be far better off and people will be far more likely to open your email and respond to the subject line. That's just a handful of subject line tips. I have more. If you want to download 10 secrets to write subject lines that sell, you can go to marketvolt.com/subject line tips. That's marketvolt, VOLT.com, subject line tips. Thanks.